Owner and master franchisor of the Alternative Board in Australia, and we're really looking forward to getting to know you and telling you a little bit more about the Alternative Board. So first, let me tell you more about the Alternative Board, and to do that I'm going to start with the story of how we were founded. Our journey actually begins back in the 1980s. Our original founder is a guy called Alan Fishman. He's based in the US, and he was asked to step in and run a small family business that was in financial difficulty. They were going into administration, and he was asked to step in and see if he could turn them around. And he did that. And he did it so successfully that they eventually grew to the point where they were listed on the stock exchange. And at that point they got a board of directors. Now a few years after that, Alan retired. And if you ever get the pleasure of meeting Alan, you'll realise very quickly he's one of those people who's never going to truly retire. He's well into his 80s now, and he's definitely not retired. So he started reflecting back on his journey as he tried to decide what he was going to do with the next chapter of his life. And that's when he found himself thinking about the time when he got the board of directors and how much value he got from being able to tap into their knowledge, expertise and experience and brainstorm the challenges and opportunities that he was facing in his business. And he found that that really clarified his thinking. It really helped him learn from their mistakes so that he avoided making mistakes himself. And ultimately, he really valued the fact that they held him accountable to make sure he acted in the best interests of the business at all times. And he found himself thinking that if only he'd had that board when they were a smaller business, he'd have made fewer mistakes and they'd have achieved their goals a lot faster. But the reality is that as a smaller business, there was just no way he could have afforded the overhead of that board of directors. So he started thinking about how he could bring the value of a board of directors to smaller businesses at a price point they could afford. And that's when he came up with the idea of getting business owners around the table and getting them to act as a board for each other, tapping into the shared wisdom that they gained through their years of experience. He held the first boards back in 1990, and since then the business has evolved significantly. We're now in 22 countries worldwide now, locally owned everywhere that we operate, and I own the business here in Australia. And we're now looking for the right people to partner with us here in Australia to build the Alternative Board brand.